What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Dio for President back again with another video for you guys. I haven't uploaded in a couple of days actually, and it's just because, bro, this thing can burn you out sometimes. So I'm going to drop one today. I'm going to try and drop one tomorrow, and in February we're going back to dropping at least 2 to 3 videos every single day. But anyways, you guys, today we are reacting to It's Not Just You. Everyone hates dating apps now. You guys, I'm telling you that when it comes to dating apps, dating as a whole, bro, for me personally, it has just been so depressing. Like, I am not having a good time dating. I'm not having a good time finding anybody. It feels like I always bump into trash in real life and on the dating apps. But anyways, let's see what this guy has to say.
So the other day I was thinking about dating apps, right? And I was wondering how they were getting on. And it turns out that they are not doing great. Bumble.
Whoa, shit, that's interesting. Shares in Match Group and Bumble have tumbled since 2021. Interesting.
Down 92%
I feel like in 2020 it should have been like, wow,
since it first went public.
Whoa.
And Match Group, the company which owns basically,
I feel like in 2020 dating apps were actually like good because people are actually trying to like get to talk to people, you know. Well, I wouldn't know because like I had a girlfriend at the time, but like in my opinion, like I would imagine that they were good. I would imagine that they were actually good.
every other dating app is doing pretty badly as well. People are falling out of love with dating apps, and this is affecting Gen Z in particular, who are becoming less likely to spend money on the apps. In fact, Forbes Health ran a survey and found that 79% of Gen Z respondents had reported experiencing some form of dating app burnout. You might have even seen that the companies have resorted to some interesting marketing techniques. For example, Bumble got in trouble for some ads that they ran trying to convince women to no longer be celibate, I guess. People weren't too happy with these adverts. Now, this is a far cry from the promise that dating apps made for us.
Bro, let me tell you, like, before we even get too deep into the video, let me tell you something about businesses but let's talk about dating apps in particular. The goal of anybody that creates something or whatever is to make money from that thing, you know. So if they're trying to make money from it, they profit off you being single and looking for love. Do you get where I'm coming from? So if they profit off you being single and looking for love, then why would they want you to get into like a relationship? That's why dating apps for me, even though I'm on them, I'm not even going to lie, I'll be using them when I'm bored. But that's what it is. I use them when I'm bored. I don't use them for anything serious. And I feel like that's like almost everyone.
When they first launched, it would be difficult to believe that around a decade later, they'd be launching $500 a month membership programs. If we try to understand how we ended up here, we maybe can come to some interesting conclusions, not just about
$500 a month for what? For what? It's just Tinder, bro. Like, you know, if I'm paying $500 a month for a dating app, there better be a girl in this bedroom every single night. I better have 5 girlfriends, 10 girlfriends, 500 girlfriends if I'm dropping $500 every single month. What the hell?
These apps, but maybe about human relationships more broadly and the assumptions that we might make about each other. The first thing that's worth explaining is that the decline of these apps is in large part a signal of broader trends in technology. There's this idea of enshittification, the phenomenon of online platforms degrading the quality of their services over time, leading to an overall decline in user satisfaction and overall value. This is something that's really broad across technology. It is best characterized through Airbnb, starting initially as a
oh my god, Airbnb used to be so good and affordable. Now, like, it's almost the same as a hotel price, depending on like where you're getting.
Promised land where you could rent out a spare room at the fraction of the cost of a hotel, but ending up in a situation where people are paying $200 cleaning fees and have curfews and service fees for a rental. The most egregious example of enshittification is BMW, who in 2022 launched a subscription to just unlock the heated seats that were already in the car.
What? Heated seats subscriptions for a car. Yo, the billionaires are too greedy. They are too greedy.
Dating apps are not immune to this problem, as fundamentally they are technology companies. The most obvious manifestation of this enshittification is the idea that subscriptions are king. I don't know if you know this, but Tinder actually has 3 separate subscription options on top of the $500 a month subscription plan. These look more like insurance plans than dating apps.
Okay, so chill, hold on. Let's see.
$100 a month subscription plan. These look more like.
So let's see. Okay, so on regular Tinder, you get what? Match, chat, and meet. I bet. So for the other ones, you get unlimited likes. Okay, unlimited rewinds. Cool. Passport to any location. That's useless to me. That is so useless. In fact, when people are like, oh, I saw this guy online, I want to get with this guy, but he lives in another country. Realistically, if we're being so real, chances are you're never going to see that guy in real life. Like, to be honest, if you are just on my phone, you practically don't even exist. You really don't exist. Like, if I don't see you in real life, you are not real. You know, so in terms of relationships, people should try and date the people that they actually see. But no, social media has people like brainwashed into thinking that they can get, you know, better. And even if they can get better, if that so-called better is not in your vicinity, then they don't even count as an option, really. But anyways, what else is on here? Okay, hide adverts. 5 super likes a week. Okay. See who likes you. But bro, prioritize likes. See likes you sent in the last 7 days, bro. Like
insurance plans than dating apps. Dating apps have not become immune from this subscription mania, and their monetization strategy has led to them feeling more like a gacha game. If you don't know what a gacha game is, it's a game that uses like a loot box mechanic where players buy in-game currency and use it to gamble effectively. In fact, Tinder actually rolled out its own in-app currency that you could use to buy special features that would increase your chance of finding love. It's a very overt shift towards gamification, towards implementing game-like mechanics in a non-gaming environment. The literal CEO of the parent company of Tinder is a man named Bernard Kim, who was the former president of Zynga. If you don't know who Zynga are, they are the company that is responsible for all of the worst mobile games. You know, the ones that look like this, right? And it's no surprise that these mechanics have been transferred directly from mobile games, which are some of the most addictive games in the world, to dating apps. This idea of gamification, broadly put, is simply just driving engagement and driving usership, not by providing a service, but by hijacking your brain's reward circuitry and making you addicted to the app rather than enjoying the app.
That's what it feels like, just swiping, bro. It feels like playing jackpots. Like you're just swiping to see who likes you. And it can be awkward because these are people that you even see in real life. Some of these people you may never see them in your life. It's so like some kind of way, bro.
As these apps have become increasingly gamified, people have responded much how they would respond to an actual game, by trying to exploit the mechanics of the game. In the world of dating, this manifests as hinge hacks. So there's this whole world on TikTok, which I didn't know about, of people sharing techniques and tips that you can use to make your experience of using dating apps a little better.
I never even knew that was a thing. People are using hinge hacks like it's a game. Jeez, bro.
Some of these things include refreshing your Hinge feed by threatening to delete your account, which supposedly flags Hinge and makes you way more likely to show up in other people's feed. Other people's decisions have been things like choosing to use AI wingmen to create a profile that is optimized for these algorithms. Enshittification isn't necessarily a complete explanation, though, because despite the fact that many other services in technology have been getting worse and worse, the companies seem to still be doing great. And there are some unique dynamics of these apps that make them especially prone to collapse and that can help us understand the mass exodus. Part of it is simply the fact that these apps promote the idea that they'll literally change your life. Hinge, for example, markets itself as the dating app designed to be deleted, which is an extremely big promise. It's a promise that I personally, as a cynic, feel like...
Bro, Hinge is not getting deleted from my phone, bro. Like, unfortunately, unless I magically find a girlfriend, and chances are she's not going to be from Hinge.
Isn't necessarily true. Hinge is owned by a $9 billion company, so, I don't think they want you to delete any of their apps. I should mention that I try to consult a variety of sources, and sometimes that leads you, especially with dating, down some uncomfortable rabbit holes. And so I want to maybe address a few preconceptions that people can often have after having had a bad experience with dating apps. They're not an enjoyable experience for anyone, regardless of gender identity. Around 80% of women report feeling some level of burnout, and around 74% of males report feeling some kind of burnout as well.
But that's crazy. Women, from my point of view, maybe I'm wrong, but women have so many options to pick from, bro. I mean, truth be told, a large majority of guys can be trash, but is every single guy trash? Every single guy trash. Like, anytime I see like an attractive woman on a dating app, in my mind I'm just like, you're just an incel, because I know that, like, you don't even need a dating app. You just use Instagram. Look at your Instagram DMs. Bro, I don't understand how women are feeling burnout, bro. It doesn't make any sense.
The unenjoyable experience is pretty evenly split across the aisle. We have some very different problems that occur, but no set of problems is one more significant than the other. Interestingly enough, men outnumber women 3-1 on Bumble and Tinder, and yet women report higher rates of negative experiences. That's not to invalidate the fact that men obviously have incredibly high rates of negative experiences, but rather to emphasize the fact that nobody enjoys the experience of dating apps. The grass isn't greener on anyone's side. Men are far more likely to experience feelings of rejection, feelings of being ignored, whereas it seems like the issues that women report are more, well, they're different. They're different, at least, right?
Yeah, what do women say? A 2023 survey from the Pew Research Center found that over half of women under 50 who had used dating sites or apps had been sent sexually explicit. I mean, true. Guys are horny. Guys cannot hold themselves. That is true.
So a 2023 survey found that over half of women under 50 who'd used dating apps had been sent a sexually explicit message that they didn't ask for, which I think is an insanely high statistic. But generally, the issues that lead people to feel burnt out are more broadly the failure to find a good connection, being ghosted, being lied to, feeling rejected, and having boring or not substantive conversations.
Yeah.
Now, let's maybe understand a bit more about the user experience and what kind of leads to these super high rates of
Bro, failure. I genuinely believe that if you're going to connect with somebody, it has to be in real life. Like, I need to already know you. All this bullshit that people are doing, dating apps and sliding into the DMs. Like, if I don't see you, truth be told, it is going to be extremely hard to connect with you. What else? Messaging multiple people. I feel like, the fact that there's so many options makes it hard. Like, if there weren't that many options, then, like, everyone would actually just be able to, like, chill, And, like, in the sense of, it's like an illusion of options. Like, you see all these people on your phone, and it's like, yeah, I have access to all these people. But truth be told, you don't really have access to anybody.
Dissatisfaction. And whether dating apps are actually benefiting from this or not, because it seems like they aren't benefiting from this huge level of dissatisfaction that people are experiencing. I want to explain a little term from economics called adverse selection. Planet Money wrote a little piece explaining how adverse selection might be an important factor in understanding why dating apps have gotten so bad lately. It's possible that dating apps face adverse selection. Basically, a new app starts up and hopeless romantics looking for real love begin flocking to it. But so do sleazy types who lie on their dating profile. Over time, the earnest daters go on a bunch of bad dates, encountering people who have no interest in real relationships or whose profiles are completely misleading. Like lemons driving good cars out of the used car market, maybe sleazeballs push great catches out of dating apps and ultimately ruin the quality of the whole app experience. So people go to a new app in the hopes of finding something better. And the cycles.
I don't think that people are even on dating apps to find love, bro. People are either there, like a lot of girls tell me that they're there for validation, and a lot of guys are just there to try and hook up with a girl, you know. So yeah.
Starts again. This idea of adverse selection is basically the idea that people can take advantage of, the meta on dating app to promote themselves as something they're not, and ultimately lead honest, well-intentioned users to feel like the apps don't have any other honest users because they're only interacting with people who know how to game the app. This is this whole idea of, hinge hacks or using AI tools to beat the system. It doesn't necessarily make you a better person on a date, but it makes you more representative of what the market supposedly looks like to someone who's just downloaded the app. And it makes people who download the app feel like everyone is awful. There is a way to actually minimize these bad apples. This is something that's actually been done before. If you can give the users as much information as you can, they can make more informed decisions, right? That's intuitive. However, the more information you provide to those users, the harder it makes for the app to be gamified because they can't rely on the fact that you don't know things about other people. This is most clearly shown in the fact that Hinge's premium program, Hinge Plus and Hinge X, they both allow you to actually add more information about yourself. They allow you to filter your dates by location, by activity, and to fine-tune exactly what you're looking for, which inevitably leads to a better dating experience and reduces this problem of adverse selection. And this isn't just theoretical. We can take the example of OkCupid, which has actually gone through a bit of a transformation from being a dating app that dealt with this problem of bad apples a lot better than the new school of dating apps into gradually becoming another Tinder clone. I found this comment of someone who described their experience, and I think it captures quite well what's...
I've actually met people that actually got married off dating apps though. I've actually met a couple of people that met their husband and wife. So, I guess, for some people, it's not that bad.
Going wrong with these apps. OkCupid used to be really great before they were sold off to Match. Match is the company that owns Tinder and Hinge and all of the other ones. It was a pretty simple concept that worked really well. Start people off by forcing them to answer at a minimum like 25 matching questions around things like politics, religion, handling money, hygiene, etc. Core factors that people would consider when dating, essentially. But the kicker was that you also got to specify how you would like your potential match to respond to the same question. And you got to weight that response based on how much you cared about that particular question.
Bro, people don't even have the time to be doing all of that right now. People don't even have the time to be doing all of that. After about 25 questions, you could get a large enough sample size to match people.
After about 25 questions, you could always get a large enough sample size to match people, but it worked best at matching people that had answered over 100 questions each. It was like magic. Anyone with over an 80% match on that site always ended up being a surefire, amazing conversation.
Wow.
What this person is describing, without necessarily realizing, is this idea of adverse selection, right? The idea that just by having more and more information about who your potential matches are in terms of their interests, their likes, their personality, you can basically make dating apps be fantastic. However, the issue with that is that they can become a bit too good, right? And you end up in the situation where every person you match with is actually a pretty good person, and you're therefore extremely likely to quit the app. The ideal situation for these apps is this weird middle ground where they want you to find someone you like, but not too often, and not someone that you like too much, because then you delete the app. But they don't want you to have zero matches, because that means that you'll delete the app super quickly. That's kind of the optimal model of a dating app, what's called a variable ratio reward, where you get a reward at an unpredictable interval, and you get a reward that's big enough every time to keep you chasing the next one, like a slot machine. And they're playing this like balancing game, and they're clearly not doing a very good job at it. When it comes down to it, ultimately, people want what they've always wanted, which is meaningful connection with others. And I think the real danger here is that people have been generalizing their experiences on dating apps as broader generalizations of how, quote unquote, society is today. And I think that's a big problem, because I would hope that most of us understand
I don't think that I've ever had a meaningful conversation with any girl that I matched with on a dating app. It's always just kind of awkward. Like the times that I've had very nice, deep conversations, I met the person in real life. So with that being said, I kind of advise people to, to go out there in real life and try and shoot your shots, try and talk to people.
Social media isn't necessarily a one-to-one representation.
It's easier said than done in our generation though. But you're better off doing that.
Of how people behave in real life. If you took Twitter posts, for example, to be the representation of how everyone behaves in general, you'd be scared to go outside. If you took Instagram Reel comments, you'd think everyone was incredibly racist all of the time. It's an algorithmic mirage. Yeah, exactly. It's an algorithmic mirage, right? These algorithms are so capable of building a mirage that makes you think that what they are showing you is simply a direct representation of what reality is, when it's been filtered through layers and layers of algorithms and psychology in order to fundamentally change how you interact with it. The good thing that we can take home from this is that people are ultimately voting with their wallets, which is by far one of the most effective ways you can actually create change. There's a big trend, you might have seen it, of run clubs now. A lot of people are joining run clubs in order to find love. And this to me is ultimately a good thing. It means that people are actually choosing to create their own alternative.
I think that this is good. This is a good way to try and find somebody. You know, it's social, you talk to people. As much as people say, yo, don't talk to people at the gym, I think the gym is good too. Can be awkward, but then, you know, try there. Dating apps are just not it.
Which is exactly what we need right now. There's many angles you can approach this from, but ultimately the biggest reason they're doing so badly is that they're not providing the service that they promised. The collapse of dating apps doesn't mean the collapse of romantic love. It means that it's actually going to spread a bit more towards the places where it needs to be, towards these organic spaces.
Hey, you guys, that's the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Do you guys use dating apps? What are your experiences using dating apps? Put it down in the comment section. Let me know. You guys already know how I feel. But you guys, that's the video. I'm coming through as often as I can.